We have peonies growing at our house, and have collected some so I can dry them, and I can have peonies essentially year round. So today I've picked two. That are kind of at the right stage for drying. They're fairly fresh blooms, so the leaves aren't starting to fall off. They probably bloomed today. So they're nice and strong, but they're also not completely open, so that's nice. They're mostly open, but not fully open. And that's generally the stage that I like to pick them for drying. Now, the first thing you want to do is you want to trim off the leaves. You don't want the leaves once you actually go to, once they are dry, and you want to take your dried peonies and make a bouquet. And I also cut off these buds most of the time, again, because just like the leaves, that'll get in the way once everything's all dried and it's not soft like it is when you make a bouquet from the fresh flowers. So I've trimmed off all the leaves, and the next thing you do is you just take some string and you just find a spot. I usually find a spot where one of the leaf branches was taken off, just so it has a little notch that it can rest on. I just do a quick little knot, nothing fancy, just a double knot so that the string will stay on. And then the next thing you want to do is you want to find a place where you are able to hang the peony upside down, because you want it to dry upside down, because that will let it dry into a nice form and nothing will kind of get in the way. It won't get all smushed on one side if you tried to dry it, laying on its side or something like that. So what I do is I just take it to our spare room closet and I just tie it around the curtain rod in there, or not the curtain rod, the clothes rod in there. And then I just leave it undisturbed for a couple of weeks. And after a couple of weeks or so, depending on the humidity where you live, you will have nice dried peonies. Now, one last quick note, or a couple last quick notes. Depending on your variety of peony, you'll get different results. So definitely experiment with what you have. These magenta ones, they will turn out probably a softer pink than they are right now. The white ones, I've never dried these ones, so we'll see what they turn out like, but hopefully they turn out kind of an antique-y color. So it's been 2 weeks. The peonies have completely dried. Actually, after about a week, I probably could have cut them down and put them into a vase, but I waited an extra week just to make sure that they were fully dried. So as you can see, they're really nice. They look like really antiqued peonies, kind of like an antique rose look to them. The magenta ones went really, really dark. I actually thought these ones might go a little bit lighter, but they actually went really, really rich, deep purple magenta color. And then the white ones look pretty good. They're just a little bit of an off-white, like an antique white. So basically when I pulled them off I had them hanging from a rack in one of our spare rooms. I had them up on these strings and I just cut them down. And it's pretty simple. You want to check for any petals that you don't necessarily want. Here, there's one that it's kind of brown on the one end. I probably could have pulled that off before I dried them, but I was kind of lazy and I just hung them up. But you can pull them off now. You just need to be gentle. Make sure you don't yank off any other petals, and that's about it. Now the last thing I do is I just trim them to length. You're going to need a stronger pair of scissors than you do when they're fresh. So I'm using, these are basically those chicken cutting shears that you can get just in a scissor set. And then you just toss it into the arrangement. And essentially that's it. Dried peonies, and they will last for months and months.